All right, hello there, everybody. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day today. All right, so today's stream is kind of going to be a continuation of what we were working on for the little bit I did yesterday there. Where yesterday was primarily talking about where we've been for the RPG and kind of discussing backgrounds up until that point. Today we're going to be taking a lot of that new design and kind of working it and kind of continuing to flesh out the ideas and set up the mechanical actual actionable content for it. But yep, that is kind of my plan for today. How is everyone doing? Hope you guys are having a good day. All right. So offside of stream yesterday, I was working on figuring out characteristics and their correlated skill proficiencies. So that's kind of what is going on in these columns here. Just listing a bunch of skills that would go alongside the characteristic portion of a character background. And so you're getting 4 skill proficiency options, and you're going to choose 2 of these options to best reflect your character. And then over here, I was just counting up how many times that they showed up in these lists here so that it could be a roughly even distribution. Without like some skills being overrepresented or some being underrepresented. And trying to do a little bit of behind the scenes balance as far as what are frequently called out skills, so as to kind of tune a little bit the curves, so like not everyone is going to be proficient in like insight or something like that. Insight only appears about 4 times throughout this entire table here, but like the low is 3, the high is 6, but those are both on the smaller side of things, but nonetheless. There. All right. Then we've got our different positions here, which are going to be the kind of career options, your heritage, your lineage, your occupation in our old document sense. And so these are what your character did prior to becoming an adventurer. And so we're also going to be tracking ASI frequency there. So it's going to be your ability scores, your strength, your dexterity, your constitution, wisdom, charisma, etc. So yeah, that's kind of what is on the table there. And then we'll just kind of be going along for the ride there as well. I think that's kind of the plan. All right. So for the Acolyte, this is our kind of pseudo-priestly class here, a priest in training. So this is primarily going to be tied to like the speaker class. So it's probably going to be what, wisdom 2, charisma 1. The alchemist here is probably going to be intellect focused. Probably intellect 2, wisdom 1. Aristocrat. This is probably going to be charisma 2, constitution 1. Artisan, and this is definitely going to be a charisma focused. Charisma 2, like intellect 1. So a beggar here would probably be Constitution 2, Strength 1. That seems probably the best way to go about that. Criminal. This is going to be dexterity focused here. Now, would criminal necessarily be strength? Perhaps intellect? I'm willing to give him the 1 on intellect there. Especially because we have kind of the idea of like a thief here who's, you know, planning out their different heist bits, who's, you know, canvassing an area and trying to figure out a plan. Yeah, intellect would work. Far traveler. I'm gonna say probably wisdom constitution. Feels pretty right. Constitution 1. Gambler. How would you give ability score improvements to Gambler here? A good part of kind of bluffing would be charisma focused. Honestly, if I do a 2 charisma, 1 strength, that feels reasonable. Yeah, charisma 2, strength 1. So that's 7 charisma, strength 2. So we need more presence here for Cronance. We need more presence for dexterity. We need more presence for strength. It's a good thing Gladiator here is next. So this is going to be strength 2, probably dex 1. And once again, since this is a quick build, you can really choose this however you want. These are just pre-generated options to kind of best fit the tone and nature of everything here. A guard. I'm going to say probably strength 2, charisma 1. Mostly because, you know, guards are enforcers, so strength makes sense. And then charisma is outward presence. A guard presence in a town would necessarily have a bit more of a forceful personality and the like there. Healer. I mean, this is kind of wisdom, intellect. I would like to kind of throw a little bit of this maybe to Cronance. Though that doesn't fully make sense since that is Weave of Time based. We could do this as wisdom to intellect 1. We could do this as... And we could do this as like intellect 2, wisdom 1, if we're going for like specifically medicine. Actually, no, medicine is a wisdom skill, so Yeah, wisdom 2. Wisdom 2. I'm going to throw it as Cronin's 1. Hunter. Hunter, that would probably be Dex focused. Dex and realistically Wiz. So Dexterity 2, Wisdom 1. An investigator, so this is going to be an intellect focused here, so that's going to be intellect 2 for sure. I'm gonna say maybe Dex. No, let's do this as another Cronin's 1, since that way we can kind of have a kind of Call of Cthulhu-esque investigator. So intellect 2, Cronin's 1. Labor, this is going to probably be Strength 2, Intellect 1. That seems pretty reasonable. Mage's Apprentice. Okay, so this is going to be intellect focused. So we have what? Intellect 2 for sure. Mage's Apprentice. So, I mean, we on one hand we could do that as the Intellect 2 Cronin's 1. Actually, I think we're gonna switch that around. Yeah. We're gonna bring Cronin's 1 down there for Mage's Apprentice. So that's gonna be kind of dark secrets of the universe, very Warlockian-esque in its way, and so that way Investigator can be Intellect 2 Dexterity 1. A little bit more on the kind of gumshoe path there. 7 and dexterity of 6. Constitution is 4. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Alright, so Mariner here. Probably gonna want to do a bit of a dip into intellect because of navigation. Honestly, this could just be a 3-way one where it's 1 strength, 1 dex, 1 int. Honestly, you could. I can see an argument for Mariner being for most of these. Definitely want to put at least 1 for intellect. With the navigation skill being a thing. Let's see here. Because, you know, strength is important on a ship. Constitution, that is your endurance stat there, so that would be kind of resisting effects. So I do feel like that is important, but probably less so than strength. Dexterity and kind of keeping your footing, sure. What if we put strength to intellect 1? I think that's kind of, well, hang on, that's the same as laborer. Maybe honestly, yeah, I think this is going to be a 3-way one. Strength 1, Dex 1, intellect. Yeah, I'm just kind of going through the list again, since we have now set the precedent that we can do a 1x1x1 for the same 3 points. If anything here would work better. Artisan, charisma, intellect. Beggar, constitution, strength. Dexterity, intellect. Wisdom, constitution. Yeah, no, I think that this is going to be wisdom 1, intellect 1. So that's going to drop our wisdom by 1, so that's 7. Then we're going to up our intellect 1, and that's going to hit 9. We are using intellect a bit more there, which just something to keep in mind there. Merchant. Okay, so merchant probably going to be charisma. Okay, hang on. So a lot of these are intellect focused here at the end, because we have merchant, which could be intellect focused for like recognizing price trends, recognizing what to set, recognizing collectibles and different sets of value. We have performer, which probably isn't going to be intellect focused, but we have scholar, which is like the quintessential intellect option. So if we do an intellect 1 on merchant and an intellect 2 on scholar, that's already going to be 3 more. That's going to put intellect at 12, which is a higher frequency than perhaps would be ideal. Here, I know soldier here is going to be constitution 2, strength 1. So here, 6, 10. Merchant, it's probably going to be charisma and then intellect, I think, right? Well, our artisan is charisma intellect. Maybe charisma wisdom. Don't hate that. Charisma 2, wisdom 1. Yeah, charisma 2, wisdom 1. Performer, that's going to be charisma 2, dexterity 1. And Scholar is going to be Intellect 2, probably Wisdom 1. Okay, so our spread here, Cronus is the least showing, one that shows up the least, which is fair. Hang on a second. These counts are off. I must have forgotten something somewhere. Alright, so let's just kind of blow this area up here, resize that to, I believe it's 200. Nope, we're gonna have to go a little bit higher. Okay. 225. A little bit higher. 250. There we go. Alright, so we have Wisdom 2, Charisma 1. Wisdom 2, Charisma 1. Intellect 2, Wisdom 1. Charisma 2, Constitution 1. Charisma 2, Intellect 1. Con 2, Strength 1. Dex 2, Int 1. Con 1, Int 1 is 1. 1, Int 1. Wiz 1. Chariz 2, Strength 1. Strength 2, Dex 1. Strength 2, Chariz 1. Wiz 2, Cronus 1. Dex 2, Wiz 1. Int 2, Dex 1. Strength 2, Intellect 1. Int 2, Cronus 1. Strength, Dex, Int, all 1. Strength, Dex, Int. Chariz 2, Wiz 1. Chariz 2, Dex 1. Int 2, Wiz 1. Then Con 2, Strength 1. Alright, so our core focused abilities here are Strength, Intellect, and Charisma. So at least that is 1 physical, 1 mental, and 1 presence stat. Cronus is the least common, which is expected. Excuse me there. But once again, since this is a quick build and we will always have the text for a variant option here, where you can just kind of choose to give yourself 2 and 1 or 1 and 1 and 1. That should work out. Mostly I'm just trying to balance this for my own sake. Let's see here. All right, so if we look over to our tool proficiencies here, we have 13 options, and then I have marked unknown 1 and 2 here, mostly because I like to keep my numbers, you know, at certain intervals. So I would like to have this at 15, just because it's easier. It's divided by 5. It looks neater. So as we're going to be going through here, assigning tools to each position, we're going to be looking out for different holes in our tool design, in our tool options, and probably creating an option to go in to kind of slot in for 2 missing positions. One that I can already tell is we have the Acolyte up first here. Let's go ahead and put in a Priest's kit. Priest supplies. Priest's tools. Supplies. There we go. All right, so for the Acolyte here, you're going to automatically get the newly created tool of Priests. Supplies. The Alchemist, we're probably going to go for the Alchemist supplies or the Poisoner's kit. I mean, Alchemist supplies, obviously. Okay. So obviously we have to go for the Alchemist supplies here. However, I do like the idea of the Alchemist also being able to perhaps be versed with the Poisoner's kit. So perhaps we could have them maybe trade. Excuse me. One of their skill proficiencies from their characteristic. Well, I mean, because hang on. So our tool proficiencies give us additional abilities during downtime events. So that might not be a wise decision to trade a skill proficiency for an additional option for downtime activities. So let's actually get rid of this column here. So yeah, you're just going to get your Alchemist supplies. So we have 1 for the Priest. We have 1 for the Alchemist. Okay, so what we have up next is the Aristocrat. I mean, that's going to be probably Calligrapher's tools. Yeah. Oh, hang on. If we think of kind of upper class kind of nobility, you could take calligraphy. We could do gaming, just since they have kind of time to learn different stratagems that way, like if it was like a chessboard. We could say that they have training with musical instruments. Could do training it with artisan supplies. Though I'm leaning mostly towards calligraphy. Because, like, we do have the artisan here, which, I mean, you're going to get your artisan supplies. I mean, that one's just in the name. Aristocrat. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with calligrapher's tools. The beggar. What set of tools would they be familiar with? We could go with your choice of perhaps musical instrument or thieves' tools. Yeah. If we're introducing that, what could we put something else on the aristocrat? Musical instruments, thieves' tools. We could put the aristocrat with what? I mean, I know we were saying gaming set. We were considering artisan supplies. No, I think we're gonna keep that at calligraphy. Bar traveler. This is someone who has wandered across the lands, who has, traveled across the different realms. They would what would they be necessarily good with? They're probably good with either the cook's tools or the brewer's supplies. Oh no, cartography. Yeah, let's go with cook or cartography. It's probably because, like, I feel like cartography would be kind of an explorer focused one, which is good for your. Hang on, we're on criminal. So hang on, let's just do far traveler then. Because cartography would be good for an explorer focus. Cook for making sure that they have food there. Brewer would be necessary for like getting clean water, but theoretically, I think we're going from like kind of a village hopping type of character archetype versus exploring vast wilderness. So I'm thinking choose one of cartography or cooks. Oh, hang on. We have the mariner, which is going to definitely include cartography. So if this is cartography cook, maybe mariner is cartography brewer. I think that's a fair way to put it. Actually, why not just have this be cartographer. Let's not overcomplicate it. And then mariner down here is going to be choose one. Brewer supplies. Cartographer's tools. Okay, so that's going to be 2 on cartographer, 1 on brewer. Now we can go to criminal here, in which case we have thieves tools. So actually we can do this as a choose one, thieves tools, 1 poisoners kit. Alright, so gambler, this is going to be gaming sets. Like that's kind of what it's for. Gladiator. Okay, so this is primarily a combat focused one. So what would a gladiator be particularly skilled with using? They might be proficient with like smith's tools for, you know, repairing their armor and swords after fights in preparation for another one. I think that's a solid option there. Yeah, I think that's going to be the best one there. Smith's tools. The guard is going to get, well, once again, this is another primarily combat forward presenting. So they would probably be see, that's the thing here. It's not, these tools are not combat focused, and that is part of the intent. So what would a guard be proficient in? Would they be proficient with alchemist supplies? Probably not. Alchemists are all about creating potions, which I don't think a guard would necessarily need to do. Artisan supplies, so that's going to be all about creating different works of art, which, I mean, while both alchemist and artisan here are not inherently limited by guard, this is standard correlation style pieces. So a guard is not traditionally recognized as a type of artist or alchemist. Are they a brewer? I mean, there are stereotypes about guards and like alcohol, sure, occasionally, but that's not really a straight one-to-one comparison. Would a guard be proficient with a calligrapher's tool? So like you know, fanciful handwriting and such. Not, once again, not by the kind of stereotypes that I'm thinking of here. And the same would probably go for cartography tools, where guards are not necessarily known for making maps. They seem for kind of defensive, hold the line, hold the peace, supposedly. So yeah, not cook's tools. I mean, if we were going for like an undercover guard or something like that, we could maybe do something with the disguise kit. And, Gaming sets. I mean, it feels like an off-duty thing, which isn't unreasonable, but it's not necessarily tied to the guard position. Musical instruments, same. Poisoner's kit. Would a guard be familiar with, different kinds of poisons, and would they be creating them? The thing is, would they be creating them? I'm not sure about that. Okay, so priest, that is going to be primarily religious focused. We have smith's tools here, which once again does work for the gladiator, in the sense that they might be repairing their equipment. But I feel like it would work less. Oh man, I'm kind of yawning a lot today. Work less for a guard. Thieves' tools, there's a part of me that kind of likes that idea. But at the same time, I can't help but admit that it's not fully within the guard's purview, since like if they're employed by the castle, by the kingdom, they would probably have keys and access to different areas, so they wouldn't need to necessarily like lockpick or break their way in. Tinker's kits, that's primarily for like mechanists and that sort of kind of artisan. Actually, let's go ahead and tweak the artisan here to be choose one. Artisan supplies, Tinker's kit. So that would kind of leave us into this unknown category here, where we could create a probably weapon master. That seems pretty decent. So a guard would probably be a weapon master's kit, a weapon master's tools. Then we could also throw that as a choose option for the gladiator. Yeah, sure. Am I good to use the word weapon master as one word? Weapons. Range master, swordsman, weapon expert. Battle master. Weapon master seems fine. I guess I am going to do the space though there. So weapon space master's kit. And then we're going to give that to the guard here. And then for the for the gladiator here, we're going to get choose one. Smith's tools, weapon masters kit. Okay, so for the healer, this would be your kind of medicine stuff. I like the idea that this could be either a natural healer, this could be a religious healer. could be several different ways here. And so while I originally was thinking of this sort of as a natural healer position, there's no reason it can't be the priest supplies either. So we could do a choose one of alchemist supplies and priest supplies. Just to kind of show different approaches there. So alchemist supplies 2, priest supplies also 2. Okay, hang on. Let's just do the numbers at the very end like we did last time. Just because I am already getting several off there. Hunter. I mean, this is going to be choose one poisoner's kit weapon master. Okay, so investigator here. Investigator, I like choose one of calligraphy or disguise. Yeah. Labor, so this is going to be definitely Smith has to be on the list. Probably what, Smith? I'm willing to throw Brewer. What isn't being used a lot here? So we've got one for priest supplies. We've got one for alchemist supplies. We've got one for calligraphers. We've got artisan and tinker. We've got musical instruments and thieves. We've got poisoner and thief. We've got cartographer. We've got gaming. We've got smiths and weapon master. We've got another for the weapon master here. We've got alchemist and priest. We've got poisoner and weapon master. Calligraphy and disguise. Okay, and so labor then, we are looking at what? Smith and probably, yeah, cook or brewer. Honestly, since labor is so broad, what if we did all three? What would that harm? Smith's tools, brewer's tools, or cook's tools? I don't think it would. Okay, so brewer, we've got cook, And we've got Smith. Okay, so that would be labor there. Mage's Apprentice. 100% calligraphers. Honestly, we could do calligrapher and tinker. Yeah. Okay, calligrapher and tinker. Okay, merchant here. I mean, that's going to be what? I mean, it could be artisan's tools. That could be what's the capitalist one of this? Thieves' tools. Merchant could actually. Merchant can be a lot of things. Merchant can be someone who cooks, someone who makes things, makes food for other people. So we could do this as another try, where it is artisan, cook, artisan, brewer, cook. Actually, we could take a lot of these are tied specifically to different creative trades. So the merchant could be our kind of catch most. So choose one. So this could be our artisan supplies. This could be our brewer supplies. Let's leave off calligraphy just since that has shown up several times beforehand. If we're selling things, brewer supplies, cartography, I'm not sold on that one as much. Let's definitely go with cook's tools. Let's see here. Would a merchant be proficient with the disguise kit? They could. Gaming sets. No, because that's more about playing the game rather than making it. Poisoner's kit, probably not. Smith's tools. And probably Tinker's kit. So that's going to cover the widest variety there. So artisan supplies, brewer supplies, cook's tools, smith's tools, and tinker's kit. Performers, this is going to be disguise kit, right? This is disguise kit. Oh, this also could be musical instruments. Dang. Yeah, disguise kit or musical instruments. Okay. Scholar. Okay, so what of these are kind of more research focused? Okay, so this is going to be probably another broad one like merchant, I think. Choose one. So we're going to throw alchemist supplies. We're going to throw in I think we do throw in calligraphy because this is scholar. We should also throw in cartography here. You know, priest and poisoner. No, sorry, priest and tinker. Would a scholar be interested in priest supplies? Because, I mean, we're thinking of this as kind of academic versus supernatural right now. However, this is a world where the supernatural does exist. Let's just stick with tinkers. So alchemist, calligrapher, cartographer, tinker. Alchemist, calligrapher, cartographer, tinker. And then finally the soldier. I mean, this is going to be what? Cartography and weapon master. Tools. Weapon master. Kit. Okay, so we have a significant lack here on the gaming sets. We do have a lot that are doing choose ones. Should we have this necessarily be a choose one archetype here? Choose a number from several options here. I think that that's probably going to be a good way to balance it. So choose one from two options. Okay. So that means we're going to have to cut some of these down, which is fine. So the acolyte here, pre-supplies. What else could they be proficient with? Probably musical instruments, like playing for the choir, or like playing for a church band, or singing for a choir. You could see something there. Yeah, it's definitely more than that. We could throw... I'm digging myself a hole here in that I keep kind of boosting one of them up. We could throw this as calligraphy tools because, you know, illuminated manuscripts, like the people who were originally making illuminated manuscripts were monks translating copies of the Bible. So that would definitely work for like an acolyte background. I think I am going to give it to calligrapher's tools. Urgh. Which means we're just going to need to cut this down more later. Right. So for the alchemist apprentice, it's going to be alchemist supplies and poisoner's kit. So let's go ahead and just kind of up the poisoner's kit there. For the, this is what, the aristocrat. So yeah, we have, where does that say brewer supplies? Oh, because that's tool. Okay, so we have for the aristocrat, we did say calligrapher's tools. Let's also throw on gaming sets. Okay, and then artisan here. We have artisan supplies, we have tinker's kit. I think that is fantastic there. For the beggar, we have musical instrument or thieves tools. That is perfectly fine there. For the criminal, we have poisoner's kit or thieves tools. There we go. For the far traveler, we have cartography. And let's do cooks, since that was the other one we were thinking of. For the gambler, we have gaming sets. For sure. What could we do here? I do kind of like the idea that the gambler is hanging around pubs. That they are doing that sort of thing there. So perhaps we throw them brewer supplies as another option. Because otherwise I'm not seeing one that's immediately jumping out as a gambler thing. We've got alchemist, we've got artisan, we've got brewer, we've got calligrapher, cartographer, cook, disguise. Could disguise work for the gambler? We've got gaming. We've got musical instruments, poisoners, priest, smith, thieves, tinkers, weapon masters. Like I could be, I could say priest and it's gambler because Pascal's wager, but like that's not, it's not the kind of point of the game here. That's not kind of the argument we want to make. Gaming set, and yeah, let's just go with brewer supplies. Okay, and then gladiator, smith's tools, weapon master's kit. It's already set up as the 2. Guard, we have weapon master kit. What else would a guard be doing? It's like now we're back to where we were before. I'm tempted to just go with giving them the option of taking thieves' tools. Like they would recognize the tools that that are used by perhaps criminals, that would be used by kind of undercity folk, and so therefore they might be able to use them better, or to use them in ways that it's not a great justification, but it's about on par with the brewer supplies and the gambler there. So all right, so then we've got healer here, which is alchemist or priest. We are all good there. Hunter, poisoner, or weapon master. Yup. Investigator, we've got calligrapher or disguise. We're good there. Laborer, we have brewer, cook, or smith. Let's see. Brewer supplies we have 3. Cooks we have 3. Smiths we have what? 3. So what is a laborer more? Here. Is it? I think it's gonna be cook or smith, right? Okay, what here is notoriously laborious? So we've got weapon master now. We've got tinker. We've got thieves. We've got smith. Smith, obviously. Priest. No. Poisoner. Not. No. Musical instruments. Gaming. Disguise kit. It's not. No. Cook works. Cartographer. And calligrapher. No. Brewer. Kind of. Artisan. Well, I mean, yes, artisan can be laborious, but it's not necessarily a laborer. Kind of laborious. Alchemist supplies. So I'm going to say we're going to cut brewers and have this be cooks or smiths. So that means brewer is going to go down 1 to 2 there. Mage's apprentice. Okay, so we have it as calligrapher or tinker. Yep. Mariner. We have brewer or cartographer. Yep. Merchant. I do think artisan supplies has to be on the list there. Merchant can go so many ways though. Do we do artisan cook? Hang on, let's just subtract all of these. So artisan, brewer, cook, smith, tinker. Artisan, brewer, cook, smith, tinker. So artisan for sure is staying. I do think cook. Do need another brewer. Yeah, no, I think it's gonna be artisan cook. Then for performer, disguise kit, musical instruments, we already had the 2 there. Alright, we gotta put them back here. So artisan. Two and yeah, cook. 3. Scholar. This could also be several. So we're going to get rid of 1 on alchemist here, though that's probably going to come back. Calligrapher, that's going to go back down. Cartographer goes down. Tinker. Down. I do think alchemist for sure. I do like tinker. Hang on, this is scholar, not mage. What was mage? Mage was calligraphy and tinker. So calligraphy and tinker are on here. So alchemist and cartographer then. Yeah, scholar would be alchemist and cartographer. Okay, so let's go ahead and put that back there. Alchemist and cartographer. There we go. And then this one here is for the soldier, cartographer and weapon master. All right, so let's go ahead. Nope, still needs to go a little bit further. Size at, let's call it 250 then. Still a hair short. 275. There we go. All right, so let's get the final counts here. Okay, so we've got one calligrapher, one priest, one calligrapher, one priest. Alchemist poisoner. Calligrapher gaming. Artisan tinker. Musical instrument thieves. Poisoner kit thieves. Cartographer cook. Brewer supplies gaming set. Brewer gaming. Smith's weapon master. Thieves weapon master. Alchemist priest. Poisoner weapon master. Calligraphy disguise. Cook and smith. Calligrapher and tinker. Brewer and cartographer. Artisan and cook. Disguise and musical instrument. Alchemist and cartographer. Cartographer and weapon master. Okay. Low of 2, high of 4. And the 4s would be calligrapher, cartographer, and weapon master. Weapon master goes to gladiator, guard, hunter, and soldier, which all make good bit of sense. Our other new one being priest has 2 appearances. That is fine. All right. How is everyone in chat doing? Okay, okay. Give me 1 second here, just to kind of. I think I'm going to take a quick pause. We'll probably be back a bit later today, do a bit more streaming. But for right now, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you.